Could very easily use concrete sleepers instead of wood. We could have done that in the very beginning. It's just that not enough thought was put in, but anyway, we removed those trees, we built Indian railways, we are happy, we all rode on these railways, but at least we should have done the compensatory activity needed. By not doing this, Ganga has over 800 tributaries in that region. Of this, today, 470 of them have become seasonal, which flow for less than 3 to 4 months. Ganga River, the basin, the Ganga basin, occupies 25% of India's geography, and 33% of India's agriculture is in the Ganga region. It is a home for over 300 million people. That is as much population as United States, almost nearly so much. This river has depleted 44% in the last 50 years. If you had seen Ganga as I saw at that time, and today if you see it, it's a very sad story. And above all, filth is flowing in everywhere, as Sudhirji was saying. Great emotions, we will do puja, next moment we will spit in the same place. For whatever reason this has happened to us, it's time to change this. Pollution is something that has come to everybody's notice and there is a lot of talk about it. Of course, we have Swachh Bharat Abhiyan going on. But believe me, pollution, if we have political will, within 3 years' time, we can make sure all the rivers in India are clean. We have a clear-cut plan for this. Look at that one. So, pollution is a problem, but with determined effort, within 2 to 3 years we can turn it around. The policy, the draft policy recommendation clearly handles this aspect. The necessary technologies are available in the world today, it can be easily done. But the real problem is, the river is depleting. My engagement with mountains, forests and rivers was very early on in my age, in my life. If I can tell you a little bit about this. When I was 8, 9 years of age, if I found 10 rupees somehow, I bought a little food for myself and disappeared into the jungle. Well, there was a lot of excitement in the family. But when the food ran out, I always came back. So 3 to 4 days, I just loitered in the forest. I did one thing. This is something that you have to look at in your lives. I was walking in the jungles in the night, there was no such thing as… those days there is no torch, there is no LED, there is only one ever-ready torch at home, which is a great thing. Only my father is capable of handling this ever-ready torch. And actually it's never ready because those 4 cells are kept outside because if you keep it inside, it will leak. So it was never really ready, but when emergency means only he knows how to put these 4 cells and then you have to… then only it will come. So there was no such thing as torch. So when I went into the jungle, I noticed all the other creatures are moving around effortlessly. Only I was struggling. So I paid attention, what is it that they have that I don't have? Because I had read a little bit of Darwin's theory of evolution, that we have the most evolved neurological system on the planet, but why is it that I can't see what they see? So I put myself to a certain kind of sadhana. I just took a thorn, which is 1.5 inches in length, and I would take 1.5 to 2 hours to minutely look at this thorn, micromillimeter by micromillimeter, and slowly train my eyes to observe in such a way that I could simply see as good as them in the dock. Even today, I never use torch. At home when I'm alone, I never turn on lights. I just walk around fine. Only if I have to read, I turn on the lights, otherwise there's no lights at home most of the time. Why I'm saying this is, human ability to do things is so phenomenal, but most human beings remain unexplored. Why is this connected to rivers? So when I went into the jungle and when I was with the rivers and the forest, for me, I did not see forest as some natural beauty, some kind of resource, river as some kind of resource. I just experienced this as a life way beyond me, much larger than me. When I floated down Kaveri for 13 days on just 4 truck tubes and a few bamboos, for 163 kilometers and 13 days on the river, I experienced the river as a life beyond me. People like you and me come and go, but these rivers have flown for millions of years. Such a great phenomena of life. We are bringing it to a close. This year, Kaveri dried up 170 kilometers inland for 3.5 months. The picture that you saw in the video is post-monsoon Kaveri. Okay, this is not summer Kaveri. Just now we had a meeting as a part of the rally for rivers in Tiruchirappalli. Where the Srirangam temple is, I have seen Kaveri just 15 years ago, it would be a mile wide. It is one of the sites, the temple tower, which is a huge tower, is reflected in Kaveri. The people come from all over the country to see this reflection in Kaveri. But today, post-monsoon, Kaveri is about half the width of this hall. This is what we have done. We are living here like we are the last generation out here in this country. As a generation of people, we have taken the largest bite out of this planet. Such a huge bite, next generations may have nothing to chew upon. That's where we have taken it. This is no more a joke. This is no more the fad of a few elite people to talk about, green something. Ecology is no more a fashion. It is a deepest concern that we have right now is ecological concern. And rivers are dying for sure. We must understand, when we say rivers are dying, why and how? There are 2 types of rivers. One set of rivers are glacier-fed rivers, ice-fed rivers. Another set are forest-fed rivers. In this country, only 4% of our river water is glacier-fed, rest is all forest-fed. If there is reduction of snow in the Himalayas, which has happened in a big way, I must tell you this, I trekked in Himalayas from the age of 19, for next 27 years, every year I was there and I trekked at least for 15 to 25 days. When I first went to Gomukh, where the Bhagirathi river begins, this ice cave was just about 25 feet wide and the water was spouting out like this. It very much looked like a cow's mouth. 13 years ago, I stopped going. I've been trekking in Tibet and Nepal now because it caused too much pain to me. When I went there, this Gomukh is a mile wide, about 2 kilometers wide. I actually walked inside. You could drive 100 trucks into this cave. That's how big it's become. This glacial depletion is not something that we can fix, it's a global phenomena. We cannot fix it. Fortunately for us, most of our river water is forest-fed. What forest-fed means, I think the video was trying to explain what happens. If the precipitation happens, if there are forests, the water will percolate this way. No forest, it will go this way. So this is the cycle of flood and drought that we are experiencing right now all across the country. Now, this sounds too simplistic. If I plant 1 kilometer of trees, will everything be okay? I never said everything will be okay. But I'm asking, shall we take at least one single step in the right direction? Shall we orient ourselves and the next generation in the right direction? This is the important thing. Because the damage is so pervasive, you can't fix it overnight. There are many online warriors who'll make one call and look, is it coming up or not? Not coming up, it's not working. This is now not how it's going to work. Now, just being emotional about it is not going to give us solutions. This is an important thing that we as a nation should understand. Certain things have to be done strategically. Just doing things emotionally is not going to produce the results that we need to produce. This needs a long-term commitment of doing right things. But it is simple enough in the sense, there are only two things to river waters. One thing is augmentation of water, another thing is managing the usage. Augmentation of water cannot be done any other way other than bringing back vegetation, making the soil rich and organically active so that it will hold water. If the soil doesn't have the necessary organic content, it will let the water loose, it becomes sand. This has to be done means there are only two options. One is the leaves from the trees and the animal waste. There is simply no other way to do it. As you know, trees have disappeared in the Ganga basin itself. 79% of the green cover has been removed in the last 50 years, 79%. In the Krishna basin, 97% of the green cover has been removed in the last 50 years. We can't call this nation building. Unfortunately, we thought it is so because first 50 years we were in a survival mode. The country was left to us in 1947 in such a depleted state of poverty, and above all the country broke into three pieces. So we went into an overdrive of survival mode. We just did things just to survive. But last 20 years, I think we've been on a developmental mode. A time has come, we have to move into a sustainable mode. Because we have reached a threshold. If we cross this, we have reached a threshold. If we cross this, turning around becomes far more difficult than the way it is right now. When I was at Puducherry, the Chief Minister of the state, Sri Narayan Swami, was saying, Sadhguru, 25 years ago when I was in Rajiv Gandhi's cabinet, we had a plan or a policy worked by our experts, very similar to what you're saying, but we could not get concurrence from the states. We could not get them together, we tried very hard, so we gave up. So I said, see, if you had done this 25 years ago, with 10% of the effort and money, we could have done the job. Now we left it for 25 years, and today it will take much more effort, and it will take at least 15 to 25 years to turn this around. But if we leave another 25 years, it will take 100 to 150 years to turn this around. This is not activist, alarmist talk, there is proper science to this. So, we are at this moment. In this nation, it's our privilege that we have a serious challenge ahead of us. Because when challenges come, human beings rise. When there is no challenge, generally they live mediocre lives. When challenges come, human beings rise to do things that everybody thought is not possible to do. This is our moment in history of this nation and this world, that we as a generation of people can do something incredible, because nowhere else on the planet have rivers depleted to this level, and nowhere else there is the potential of turning it around as we have, because we have a land which is most responsive to anything that we do. When I say most responsive, I've been looking at this. As I look at this, it just amazes me. Right from ancient times, our sages and saints have been saying, this is a sacred land, there's no land like this. I thought, okay, lot of emotion, everybody has emotion about places where they are born. Everybody has emotions about their culture. But as I look at the biodiversity of this nation, there is no other continent on the planet which has the biodiversity we have. Why is it that so much life chose to happen here and not somewhere else? So the level of biodiversity we have is so phenomenal. Protecting that is one aspect. Another aspect is it will respond. The land will respond very quickly simply because of the enormous diversity that we have. I will tell you, the biodiversity we have in this little subcontinent, we are only 4% of the world's geography. Not even 10% of that exists in the entire North America as a continent, which must be at least 5 times or 6 times larger than India. So this level of concentration of life, why it happened here, I have no answer, but it has happened here, it's our fortune, and if we do the right things, the land will respond very quickly like no other land on the planet. And this response is important because if the land does not respond, there is very little we can do. We have done this in small modules, that shifting farmers from crop-based agriculture to tree-based agriculture, we have seen the biodiversity just comes back in such a phenomenal way, and the economy of the farmer multiplies manifold. We have shown that a farmer's income can go up anywhere between 3 to 8 times in a matter of 5 to 7 years, just by shifting from crop-based agriculture to tree-based agriculture. We had a few Vietnamese experts with us, and they were telling me, shifting from paddy cultivation to fruit cultivation, their farmers' incomes have gone up 20 times over, 2000%. I said, this is amazing, how is this possible? They're laughing at us because they came to Indian universities 20 years ago. They studied in our agricultural universities, took this knowledge back to their land and made it a reality. But we earned PhDs. I'm saying we have everything, but we are too siloed up. We are not able to use what we have for the well-being of this nation and the people. It is time that like green warriors like this, by mistake they've given the finance also in his hands. I'm sure he's going to use it to make it green. And what I have seen since I started, September 3rd, we left Coimbatore, we have covered 6 states and this is the 7th state. These 6 states, or these 7 states, are ruled by 6 different parties. Never they can agree upon anything, you know that. But I must tell you, this is something we must acknowledge, the maturity of our political leadership today, that all of them today are speaking in one voice for the rivers of India. They are sitting together, they're talking one language, and they're showing one commitment, saying that some of the states were going into election, they said, it doesn't matter who comes to power, we will do this. This is incredible. So this has been one of the biggest hurdles, that there was no concurrence of the state with the center. So concurrence has happened effortlessly. I have to admit this, only 2 chief ministers I personally met to explain what the policy is about. For others, I just wrote a letter. Within 15 days, all of them confirmed their attendance, and many of them have signed MOUs to facilitate this. Some of the chief ministers are going ahead and saying, when I came to Karnataka, the Karnataka chief minister said, it doesn't matter what is the policy, we will do this in the Kaveri belt. So they signed an MOU. When I came to Andhra Pradesh, the Andhra Pradesh chief minister is saying, Sadhguru, it doesn't matter, what the center thinks, whether they pass the policy, don't pass the policy, Andhra Pradesh will be the first state to implement the policy. Then I drove to Telangana. Telangana people said, we have already started implementing this, we will be the first state. And yesterday, your chief minister said, there is no questions about this, we are going ahead and he has put this man with uncontrollable passion on the job. So this is fantastic. Till now, the 7 states that we covered had 6 different political parties. From here on, the next 9 states is all one political party. So, I think we have won the concurrence, which is a huge step. The next thing is, as it's been said again and again, there are many complexities to execution of the policy. There are legislative challenges, there are legal challenges, there are social challenges, and there are economic challenges. There are many challenges and complexities when it comes to implementation. So one thing we are requesting all the states to do is, the government part of the land, generally all our rivers put together, the major rivers, amounts to 20,000 kilometers of running space. Out of this 20,000, 25% of the land is held by the government, fortunately. This 25% must become forest. If this 25% becomes forest in the next 8 to 10 years' time, this has solved literally 50% of the problem. And the remaining 75% is in the farmer's hands. It is not fair to ask the poor farmer to save the river or the nation or the world or the ecology, it's just ridiculous. So, what we have evolved is an economic plan with a significant ecological impact. Out of this 75% of the land, 6 to 8% of the land is delta land. We don't have to touch it, we can just leave it as it is. So remaining 67% of the land amounting to about 14,000 kilometers. 1 kilometer on either side means 28,000 square kilometers is what we are talking about. We want Maharashtra to take this up first, but Andhra Pradesh is taking up before you, you must go faster. We want to set up large-scale modules. We've already successfully set up small modules and proven that this works. We want to set up large-scale modules, let us say 50-kilometer stretches or 100-kilometer stretches, which goes into horticulture with the necessary infrastructure of cold storage, value addition industries, and everything else allied that is necessary. Every 100 kilometers or 50 kilometers, there must be a small SEZ which is only focused on, augmentation of the fruit produce and the other medicinal produces we can come out with. Right now, Ayurveda is expanding in the world in a huge way. I'm asking you, where is the resource? Where is the resource base? So gradually, our Ayurvedic products will be diluted further and further to a point of ridiculousness, simply because we are not investing in the resource. So going into medicinal trees can be hugely beneficial for the farmer. Only thing is, we are talking to CII and they have agreed in principle that the industry must invest first and then the farmer will invest. In 8 districts in Tamil Nadu, we are going with this experiment. Even when there are no rivers around, we are going with this, that first industry invests, around that farmer invests with an assured income. And this will transform the space in a huge way. If we make it economically successful After that, you don't have to enforce anything, you don't have to implement anything, it will just spread by itself. So to make it economically profitable and sustainable is the most important thing. This is not ecology versus economy. This is economics which sustains ecology. This is how it has to be approached, otherwise it's just not going to work. So my entire effort in this policy document is to somehow marry science and politics. All of you married people, you understand, when you marry, you have to make compromises, otherwise it won't last. Yes? In any relationship, whether it's marriage or marketplace, both the parties must benefit, otherwise it's not going to work. So it is very important all the stakeholders benefit. When I say all the stakeholders, the first stakeholder is the river itself. The river should increase its flow, and all the life that is sustained in the river will naturally benefit from that. Next is the farmer, he must benefit from this. And next is the larger community, those of us who live in towns and cities. Next is the government and the local administrations, they must benefit in terms of taxes and revenue. Only then this will fall into place. This is what the draft policy involves, and it's a 700-page document. Once the central government accepts it, we will pass it on to all the state governments, the media, the many environmental experts and others who've invested their life in making this happen. They've all worked in different levels, but we want them to now contribute towards a positive policy. One thing that's happened in the country is, there are, with all due respect to them, they are not wrong. There are scientists and academics who are sitting up there, and if you tell them, right now many of them, a few of them are commenting about this, this is not enough what Sadhguru is saying. If you want rivers to be healthy, you must pull out the dams, you must uproot all the cities which are on the river banks, you must stop this chemical usage, you must do this, you must do that. Well, these things are not going to be done, you know that. Yes? You are not going to move out of the city, you are not going to pull down the dam, these things are not going to happen. Are we interested in just an endless debate, or are we interested in a solution? This is the big question. Because they're not wrong. Actually, if none of us exist in this world, the forests will grow and rivers will flow. That's a reality. That is the actual truth. If none of us exist here, definitely forests will grow through this hall and rivers will flow right here probably. But that is not a practical solution, that's not going to happen. We are not going to quit. We are going to do everything that we do. And how, within this activity, within these aspirations of wanting to make the nation an economic success, at the same time, how to protect our ecology, we have to make some compromises from both sides, otherwise it's not going to work. This is what the policy is working at, to make it an economic policy with ecological impact. So, right now, shall I go and plant a tree? No, I don't want you to plant a tree, because I don't want this emotional knee-jerk reaction to this. Right now, your business is to make that call and make sure everybody in this town and in this state makes that call. Now, the call is because, as I said, it takes 20-25 years to see results. This means 4 to 5 governments by the simple democratic process would have come and gone. Many of us who are here today may not be here after 25 years. But if we have to do a sustained policy in that direction, the people of this nation have to give one clear yes. This big yes vote is what the call is about. I called, it's not enough. I want at least 40% of the electorate to call, which is around 30 crore calls. Crores of calls are pouring in, we are not able to tabulate it yet. It is pouring in big numbers, But I'm asking for a minimum 30 crores. Will you stop right there? You should not stop right there. Because when it comes to the election day, I know in Mumbai you don't, but in the rest of the country, at least 60% of the people go and vote. They stand in long queues and they vote. But now, I'm not asking you to stand in a queue. The thing that you love most in your life, the phone. Come on. Don't you look at the phone more often than you look at your wife's face, your child's face, your husband's face, your mother's face? Look at her. She's using it as a mirror. So the thing that you love most, please use it. Just make a call, because at this point, it's important the people of India in one voice say that we want this to happen so that these next 4 or 5 administrations which will come in the next 25 years, all remember that not 30%, not 40%, 90 to 100% of the people said yes to the river policy. We can never go off this. We have to make such a strong statement. Whichever party, whichever administration comes in the next 10, 15, 25 years, all of them should remember, like never before, people of India came together and said one big yes for the rivers. Incidentally, 24th of September is International River Day. Now, it's in the middle of river rally. I will be at Maheshwar, I will be on a river bank in Madhya Pradesh. All of you, and you must tell all your friends and family that you must make a pilgrimage to one nearest river in your area, if you know where there is a river, okay? Because we made a little survey and we found below 20 years of age, 80% of the population has never seen a river. They have not seen a river. Of course, they've seen an online river. They've not seen a real river. Will you do this? This is important. This is important that you make a simple pilgrimage to some river and you may find some of the rivers are filthier than the sewer that runs in front of your home or whatever, those things that you fall into in Mumbai. It doesn't matter, but you must make a pilgrimage to a river on 24th. Make this annual pilgrimage till our rivers flow clean and wonderful. You must make this happen, otherwise there is no nothing. Is this some kind of an alarmist thing that this is going to happen, terrible things will happen to India? No, I want you to remember, just 60 years ago, if you look back on the history of this country, every 2 to 3 years we used to have famines. When famines happened, how many people do you think died? Dozens? Hundreds? Thousands? No, millions. 1943 Bengal Famine killed over 3.5 million people in 2.5 months. No nuclear bomb, just died quietly, hungry, no food, no water. I want you to understand the pain that human beings go through. We just can't forget it. We have a way of forgetting everything, the disasters that happen to us, and once again drive into the same pit. We are once again driving in that direction. In the last 60 years, fortunately, we have not had a single famine. We don't want to have any famine in the next 500 years in this country. That's what we must look at. And, oh, famine won't happen, we will import food, we will desalinate water and we will somehow drink, that's not the point, but we are heading in the direction. Right now, over 3 lakh farmers commit suicide. Is that a joke? So I want you to remember, Morning your breakfast and lunch, you're too busy, so I will leave you alone. Before you have your dinner, every day you must spend just 20 seconds and just think of all the pain and suffering people have gone through and are going through simply because there is no water and food. How many people? This is not to ruin your dinner. This is to awaken your humanity. You must eat your dinner as a full-fledged human being, not as another creature who just consumes food. You must stir up your humanity and then eat, then there is profoundness to everything that you do. Please bring this into your life, and the rally for rivers should not end the moment I leave Mumbai, because tomorrow early morning I'm leaving to Ahmedabad. Young people, you must carry on the rally by yourself, your own rally. Walk for the rivers, run for the rivers, cycle for the rivers, motorcycle for the rivers, drive, do whatever the hell you want. But do your own rally, go across the state in whichever form you can, or you call your friends and ask them to do something. In your own little ways, please do it. Till 2nd October, you must keep this intensely on, because we as a nation have very poor memory. We have a way of forgetting the most horrendous things that happened to us, and tomorrow we are going on as if nothing happened. This is on one level a great quality, on another level we tend to walk into the same pits of the past. So we must remember, so make sure the rally continues, and from Mumbai I expect this. In every city I'm calling for this. We want, because many corporations are coming to us now and saying, we are willing to invest to revive the rivers. And we are talking with the World Bank to see that the World Bank kind of assures the corporations what they want to give us CSR every year, the World Bank gives it in one time so that we can do the work quickly. So at least 3 rivers are already committed by 3 different corporations, and many more are in the talking mode right now. When this comes, we need young people. I'm calling for 100 people from every city, young people who will work with us. For the next 3 years, I will give you 2 meals and a place to sleep. Nothing more, because that's all I get. I will give you what I get, 2 meals and a place to sleep. Next 3 years, those of the young people, because Mumbai is a large city, nearly 2 crores, I ask for 200 youth to stand up for next 3 years to make this happen. Are you with me, huh? Please say this after me. You must make this happen, Mumbai, the youth of Mumbai. You have to stand up. Your voice matters, your actions matter. Say this after me. Bharatam Mahabharatam Ganga Narmada Punya Tirtham Sindhu Saraswati Kaveri Jivana Karana Mula Tattvam Nadirashtrasya Maha Amritam Bharatam. Bharatam Mahabharatam Ganga Narmada Punya Tirtham Sindhu Saraswati Kaveri Jivana Karana Mula Tattvam Nadirashtrasya Maha Amritam Bharatam. Bharatam Mahabharatam महाअमृतम् भारतम् भारतम् महाभारतम् गङ्गा नर्मदा पुण्यतीर्थम् सिन्धु सरस्वती कावेरी जीवनकारणमूलतत्त्वम् नदीराष्ट्रस्य महाअमृतम् भारतम् भारतम् महाभारतम् गङ्गा नर्मदा पुण्यतीर्थम् सिन्धु सरस्वती कावेरी जीवनकारणमूलतत्त्वम् नदीराष्ट्रस्य महाअमृतम् भारतम् भारतम् महाभारतम् गङ्गा नर्मदा पुण्यतीर्थम् सिन्धु सरस्वती कावेरी जीवनकारणमूलतत्त्वम् नदीराष्ट्रस्य महाअमृतम् भारतम् भारतम् महाभारतम् गङ्गा नर्मदा पुण्यतीर्थम् सिन्धु सरस्वती कावेरी जीवनकारणमूलतत्त्वम् नदीराष्ट्रस्य महाअमृतम् भारतम् भारतम् महाभारतम् गङ्गा नर्मदा पुण्यतीर्थम् सिन्धु सरस्वती कावेरी जीवनकारणमूलतत्त्वम् नदीराष्ट्रस्य महाअमृतम् भारतम् भारतम् महाभारतम् गङ्गा नर्मदा पुण्यतीर्थम् सिन्धु सरस्वती कावेरी जीवनकारणमूलतत्त्वम् नदीराष्ट्रस्य महाअमृतम् भारतम् भारतं महाभारतं गङ्गा नर्मदा पुण्यतीर्थं सिन्धु सरस्वती कावेरी जीवनकारणमूलतत्त्वम् नदीराष्ट्रस्य महाअमृतम् भारतम् भारतम् महाभारतम् गङ्गा नर्मदा पुण्यतीर्थम् सिन्धु सरस्वती कावेरी जीवनकारणमूलतत्त्वम् नदीराष्ट्रस्य महाअमृतम्
सरस्वती कावेरी जीवनकारणमूलतत्त्वं नदीराष्ट्रस्य महाअमृतं भारतम्।